Hello. Hello, everybody. I'm streaming them early again, like I always say. Start off by talking about my dog. I sort of have to run on his schedule. He doesn't get to run on mine. Okay, so I hope everybody's good. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. So we are on night 11, which is crazy because I feel like I've barely even gotten into the game. So what did we do? We met the Thin Blood Primogen in the last part. We met Benoit, which is this gentleman over here. We met Agathon, the Tremere. We stopped this reporter supposedly from investigating Sofie. And we tried to find out who's stalking us, following us. Didn't really work out. And we also met up with Hope again, and we found out about someone named Kara, and we crashed Hope's car, or our car got crashed because somebody attacked us with a gun. So yeah. So tonight, what I would like to do is I would like to meet up with DeAngelo again, so we can learn more about the Red Hook murders that might or might not have something to do with Thin Bloods. So let's just jump right into it. The gift that keeps on giving. It's been a while since you've heard from DeAngelo. Maybe he's busy, sticking his nose where it doesn't belong, or maybe he pissed off the wrong people and is now rotting in a ditch somewhere. Either way, now's as good a time as any to check up on him. Do I have to rest? No, I don't. Okay. You make your way through the now familiar rusty maze of the grain terminal and up the stairs to DAngelos' office. This time, however, you find the room firmly locked. There's a note pinned to the door. You rip it off and scan through the crooked lettering. Sorry, my chat thingy's not working. Take a sip of water. I have terrible internet here in Germany. Just FYI. What is this? There's been another one at the sea now. Come to Bed Stewie, corner of Pulaski and Garvey, ASAP. Why would you write it like that? Looks like DeAngelo could use your help. Better get going. It's like the SpongeBob meme. I don't know why you'd write it that way. As you approach the address, DeAngelo gave you a squad... Oh my god. As you approach the address DeAngelo gave you, a squad car passes you by, sirens blaring. Following it, you make a turn from DeKalb Avenue into Pulaski Street. Sure enough, the street is awash with red light, and the 4 or so police cars parked on the nearest corner next to an ambulance confirm that you're in the right place. You move closer to what appears to be New York's finest convention, looking around in the hope of spotting a familiar, if not altogether pleasant face. No such luck. True to his Nosferatu lineage, DeAngelo is nowhere to be seen. You stop on the sidewalk across the street, trying not to draw attention to yourself. All of a sudden, one of the cops standing by the entrance to the building looks straight at you. He gives you a double take, and you instinctively look away. Bad move, you think to yourself, as you notice him making his way towards you. Make a run for it? No. Let's calmly wait for him to approach, I think. Not allowing panic to set in, you stand your ground, doing your best ordinary citizen impression. The cop waddles across the street towards you, his sense of authority putting that extra spring in his step. You remain calm, even as he puts his hand on his holster. Shit, you can't help but mouth the word. This is about to get messy. I kind of wanted to avoid him, but I figured running away would look more suspicious. Suddenly he stops, as if instinctively realizing he was just inches away from a grisly demise. He waves at you dismissively, and yells in a thick Brooklyn accent. I can't do a Brooklyn accent. I'm from Boston, not New York. Hey, this is an active crime scene. Be on your way. There we go. Hey, taxi! There's my Brooklyn accent for you. Relieved, but trying not to show it, you put on your grumpy New Yorker face and start to walk away. As you make your way past a dark alleyway, someone grabs you by the arm and pulls you into the shadows. If the smell of cigar and cheap cologne didn't give him away, the gravelly voice sure does. Nice save. I mean, dumb to show your face around in the first place, but still. Come on, I'm parked around the corner. Before you know it, you're sitting in the passenger seat of a busted old sedan parked half a block away, giving you a nice view of the police gathering. Feeding opportunity, we can take them. We could take 'em no sweat. See, there's only 2 of them. That we know of. Might be more inside. I don't know, kid. I can handle risky, but this seems downright stupid. You're probably right. I wouldn't, with police everywhere, and no, I wouldn't consider this to be a feeding opportunity. No, I'm gonna say you're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. Better safe than sorry. I know I'm hungry, but like, calm down. Just chill. Let me talk to them. I'll get us in. He gives you a look as if you just ripped a massive fart. Ew. Right. Look, kid, it's not that I don't trust you, but how about we give that raw animal magnetism of yours a dry run, huh? Pretend I'm not one of the cops guarding the entrance. Convince me to let you in. I would just use my powers, but I'm hungry and I don't want to, like, really get myself super hungry. So, I will pose as a tenant. Evening, officers. I live here. Is there a problem? Yeah, this here's an active crime scene. Be on your way. But, hey, it's your butt against mine. Get lost. Damn. I'll be fine. Fair enough. Go get him, Tyga. I'll stay close by just in case things go south. Hi, Elizabeth. Go get your tea. I have mine, even though I'm not happy about it. Gross. You get out of the car, slamming the door a bit too loudly for your own good. As you cross the street already, you feel like you've made a big mistake. Oh well, too late to turn back now. Might as well give it your best shot. I might just use my powers if things go south. As you approach the cops, your whole body tenses up. It's funny, considering all that you've seen these past few nights, that this would make you nervous, and yet it does. The 2 officers seem to be engaged in a heated debate regarding last night's Mets game. You stop just a few steps away and open your mouth. Whatever is about to come out, it better be good. I'm just going to use presents. I know what I said, that I'd pretend to be a tenant, but obviously that's not going to work, so let's just use presents. I'm so wishy-washy. It's terrible. I'd make the worst vampire ever. And then, just as you're about to weasel your way into the unsuspecting minds, you freeze. One of the cops notices you and gives you a slight nod. Yeah, hey, if you're going in, make sure you stay away from 209. Active crime scene, you see. You know. And with that, they get back to arguing whether or not the umpire was bought and paid for or not. Everyone must be a baseball fan here. Utterly confused, you piece together what's left of your senses and hurry past them. Inside the building, DeAngelo stands in the hallway, dumbfounded. As you open your mouth, he stops you with a gesture. Don't even talk to me right now. In awkward silence, you both make your way up to the 2nd floor. Well, good. I didn't have to try and convince them to let me in, and I didn't have to waste more blood using my powers, so I'm happy. Finding the crime scene proves easy enough. You just follow the yellow police tape, and before you know it, you're standing in the middle of what used to be someone's living room. The place has been completely trashed, knocked over furniture, shattered glass, the works. Looking around, you notice a sign scribbled on a nearby wall. It reads, "His gift, our fate." But you're no expert in typography, but the crooked letters look similar to the ones you saw back at Red Hook. Excuse me. Sure enough, there's very little in terms of blood, save for the occasional stain that's bound to end up on the carpet once you toss someone through a glass coffee table. DeAngelo leans against the doorway. He seems lost in his thoughts, sucking on his cigar compulsively and mumbling to himself. You lean in a bit, trying not to make it obvious you're listening in. You manage to catch the first few lines of his monologue. The night's been kind to them so far, but the questions keep piling on, and now they've found themselves amidst the wreckage of another life. Hi, Vampire Penguin 09. Hi, sweetie. It's like I was just talking to you. So all you missed is that we're just checking up on DeAngelo again, following up on the Red Hook murders that he thinks has something to do with the Thin Bloods. It was up to them to sift through the debris and come up with a neat little pile of answers. Suddenly, he tenses up as if sensing your eyes upon him. Feel free to chip in, kid. Anything catches your eye? Well, yeah, another piece of graffiti, and no blood. Same as before, meaning someone might have drank this person. At least none spilled, so what does that tell us? Might be the kindred we're after. That this was a feeding, that the killer is kindred, might be the one we're after. Might doesn't make right. Let's not make assumptions until we see the body. Still, the pattern is consistent. God damn it, I hate where this is going. Which is? Me being right. About thin blood involvement, I mean. Anyway, looks like we're not getting any more out of this place. No way around it, we gotta see the body. Sure, might as well be prudent. In for a penny, in for a pound. My thoughts exactly. The Duskborn have it bad as it is. If I'm gonna accuse one of them of breaking the Masquerade, I want solid evidence, and I mean rock fucking solid. Luckily for us, I might know someone who will get us an audience with our dearly departed. To your surprise, he pulls out a cell phone, a busted old clamshell. He flips it open and spends a good minute browsing through the contacts, muttering to himself. Finally, he makes a call. Hey, you know who this is. Yeah, that favor you owe me? Time to deliver. Listen, I know you got a fresh one. The murder in Bed Stewie. I'm not sure how you say that. I need to take a look. Yes, now. Yeah, you'd better. With that, he hangs up and gives you his trademark wry smile. That's a good question. Aren't cell phones forbidden? Nah, it's a burner phone. Are we good? Yeah, we're good. Next stop, Kings County. Kings County, the bleeding heart of Brooklyn. It's beating as hard as ever, with ambulance after ambulance bringing in sick and wounded New Yorkers to be pumped through the tight arteries of the healthcare system. It's a dangerous place for our kindred to show their face, incessantly crowded and full of people who specialize in noticing all sorts of physical afflictions, especially the sort that makes up the very essence of a vampire's existence, for instance, death. Thankfully, your business here tonight keeps you away from the hectic human hive of the ER. Instead, you follow DeAngelo to a relatively quiet part of the underground parking lot that's closest to your current point of interest, the Kings County Morgue. Having found yourself a convenient and suitably unlit spot near the hospital wall, you wait patiently for DeAngelo's contact to appear. Every now and then, you glance over at the undead gumshoe as if to make sure his moldy mug isn't showing any signs of worry. It doesn't. Or at least, he's very good at hiding it. Probably that one. Finally, after 30 minutes or so, a lone figure emerges from a side entrance. As the human-shaped shadow walks by, you're quick to recognize him as the EMT you saw back at the murder. Clearly nervous, the 20-something-year-old redhead can't seem to help but look back, making sure no one is following him. Finally, he stops and lights up a cigarette. Without even looking in your direction, he takes a puff and exclaims, seemingly to no one in particular, "Room 112. You got 20 minutes." DeAngelo speaks without looking at you. That's our cue. You follow the fanged detective through the same door the EMT walked out of. Luckily, this wing of the hospital seems unusually empty. Still, the confidence with which DeAngelo makes his way through the white and green corridors makes it clear he's been here before. No, Huddy hates tea. There is no love for tea from Huddy. But I drink it because it helps with the amount of reading I have to do. Finally, he stops in front of one of the doors, room 112. That's your stop. The room is small, with only one oversized freezer by the wall and a single slab mounted in its center. What I can't help is my brain not catching up with my mouth. Sure enough, the body of a middle-aged man is splayed out on its steel surface. This reminds me a lot of the morgue in Bloodlines. Just saying. Even for a dead man, he seems unnaturally pale. Extreme blood loss will do that to you. Try as you might, you can't help but look at the man's face. His features twisted in abject horror. This was not a peaceful death. No, tea is not yummy, Melody, not at all. Looking closely, you notice 2 small puncture wounds on the victim's neck. If ever there was a clearer sign of a vampire attack, you're yet to see it. Looking over to DeAngelo, you notice his lips moving in a familiar motion. He's narrating again. Before he can utter an intelligible word, you cut in with a remark. Look at his face. What about his face? Did I miss that? I'm just going to say look at his face because I don't remember her mentioning what his face looked like. Hi, scumbag. Welcome to the stream. Jesus, the look on his face, it's like nightmare fuel. No kidding, which means he was fully aware, all the way through. He knew he was dying. Which, combined with the blood loss and the teeth marks on his neck, confirms our hypothesis. We have a thin blood serial on our hands. Fuck. As if on cue, the door swings open. A tired-looking man with a stethoscope around his neck walks in. With his eyes fixed on his clipboard, he doesn't appear to notice you, yet. His face is just handsome, yeah. It's not the look of death, it's the look of, good looks. Feeding opportunity. Get him. Yeah. Yeah, we're in a morgue. We're basically alone. I don't know how DeAngelo's gonna feel, but I'm hungry. Yep. Get him. Letting your instincts take over, you pounce on the unsuspecting doctor, plunging your fangs into his aorta. Well, be careful, because you might bleed out. The precious liquid tastes sickeningly sweet, making you feel a bit lightheaded. It appears the good doctor has been getting high on his own supply. The look of, damn, absolutely. It takes you a moment to get your fill, but when you're finally done, you immediately feel DeAngelo's eyes upon you. Is he mad? Don't be mad. I'm hungry. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Do not come between me and a meal. You start coming up with an excuse, but he just smirks. Okay. You're quick, kid. I'll give you that. Beat me to it by a pube. Ew. Gross. Now, come on. Let's get out of here. Time to pay our dear Primogen another visit. But he doesn't like me, and he's annoying. Why didn't my blood go away? Robert Larson's home looks about the same as last time. No added security, no angry dogs prowling the yard. It appears that the thin blood Primogen would rather risk another visit from his old pal DeAngelo than to arouse suspicion of his family and neighbors. Which is good, considering that's what he's about to get. Sure enough, the light in Larson's study is on, and you even catch a glimpse of the man himself shuffling around the room. You look over to DeAngelo, wondering how you're going to get Larson's attention this time. Without a single word, DeAngelo walks over to a nearby street lamp and leans against it, making sure he's visible to any and all who happen to look. Looks like the time for subtlety is over. Not that we were subtle the first time, because I'm terrible at it. It only takes a couple of minutes for Larson to take notice. You see him lean against the window and storm out of the room. In mere seconds, he's out in front and in DeAngelo's face. Listen to me, you moldy fuck. I've had just about enough of your shit. You want to pester me? Fine. But leave my family out of it. For a moment, DeAngelo just stands there, motionless, allowing Larson to get his frustrations out. Suddenly, he grabs the thin blood by the collar, lifts him off the ground, and smashes his back against the lamppost. Damn, DeAngelo. Are you finished? All right. Now you listen to me, and you listen good. You think I'm enjoying this? You think I like to be jerked around? You think I got nothing better to do than hang around this little puppet theater you've made for yourself? Now, either you give me a lead I can follow, or I'll start remembering things you'd rather forget. For the first time since you met him, Larson looks speechless. His eyes wide with fear, he can only mutter under his breath. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Cue awkward silence. You stand there, shifting your eyes from one vampire to the other. Guess it's time to either press the advantage or play the good cop. Okay, I watch a lot of true crime stuff, so DeAngelo is obviously playing the bad cop. And good cop, bad cop, there's an actual term for it, but I don't remember what it is, but it actually really works. So, not let's all calm down, but let's say take it easy, DeAngelo. Let's try it that way. Like, it's okay, buddy. There. Take it easy, DeAngelo. Let's not make a scene. Why not? I like making a scene. It's not like we're getting shit done. Might as well make a show of it. If you want my help, put me the fuck down. With his feet back on the ground, Larson straightens his collar in a faint attempt at preserving some shred of dignity. There's a place in Manhattan, Lower East Side. One of the few places in the city where my people can find shelter. Yeah, I know it. If you go there right now, you might find what you're looking for. DeAngelo stares at him for a moment, just long enough to make it uncomfortable. We'd better. Finally, DeAngelo loosens his grip. You both watch Larson limp back to his house, looking back over his shoulder like he's going to tell the teacher on you. Oh my god. You look to your partner, meaning to ask what that whole things you'd rather forget deal was, as if sensing your curiosity, DeAngelo cuts in with a preemptive mutter. Come on, we got what we came for. As you reach the address Larson gave you, you find yourself standing in front of what looks like an old garage. On the outside, the place looks as uninteresting as it gets. You'd think it abandoned, if not for the few barely working lights illuminating its shabby facade. Once you're inside, however, if there ever was a place worthy of being called a wretched hive of scum and villainy, this is probably it. The room is littered with drunks and crackheads, human and thin blood alike, their minds lost in their cruel little worlds, their bodies splayed out across the floor. DeAngelo leans over and whispers in your ear. I'll cover the back door. You stay near the front. Let's look around and see what we can find. Before you can ask what exactly you're supposed to be looking for, DeAngelo disappears into the shadows. I'm peeved that my blood didn't recede more. I mean, it receded a little, but maybe as I get older, I need more. I don't know. Focus my senses. Hive of villainy, I know. I'm so poetic. I'm a walking thesaurus. I don't want to use my powers, again, because of the blood issue. Let's look around quietly. Doing your best to blend in with the crowd, which is fairly difficult considering your upright position, you slowly make your way across the large room. Not really knowing what you're looking for, you focus on the details, a knowing smirk, a hateful stare, anything that looks even the slightest bit suspicious. After a dozen or so empty stares, you're almost ready to give up, when suddenly something catches your eye. A young, skinny woman hunched in the corner of the room. She gives you a bewildered look, a 1,000-yard stare that tells you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's her. As you walk towards her, DeAngelo emerges from the shadows right next to you. Nice catch. He kneels down beside her. You can tell he's trying to sound as comforting as possible, but with his gravelly timbre, it's not really working out. Hey, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you. Just want to talk. I'm not really doing a gravelly voice for him, but that's because I only have one gravelly voice, and it's for Kaiser. That's it. No, don't talk too loud. Too loud. She seems halfway out of it. It's like the lights are on, but whoever is inside is stumbling around after one hell of a bender. All right, you like quiet. Got it. Can you tell me your name? Santa. That's what he calls me. Called me, even. Suddenly, you hear the door swing open behind you. Even though the night is fairly warm, a cold chill runs down your spine. You look towards the entrance. There is a woman standing there, and something about her just screams kindred. Even though she seems comically overdressed for the situation, somehow you don't feel like cracking a smile. Whoever she is, you can tell she means business. She starts making her way to the back of the room, not making any effort to sidestep any of the junkies and drunks. They all know well enough to get out of her way. Acting out of bravery or sheer stupidity, you walk up to her. She looks at you as if you were something she just scraped off her shoe. You smile nervously, without even knowing it. Hello there, and who might you be? No. That's what I'll... Hey, what's a girl like you do in a place like this? What year is it? Hold it, what's your business here? I'm just going to say hello, because that's, in my opinion, seems the least stupid of all of the stupid things I could possibly say to her. As you open your mouth, her hand shoots out, grabbing you by the throat. Well, that's a fine how do you do. The woman looks at you, tilting her head, as if examining a curious specimen of an insect. Suddenly, her eyes shift as she notices something behind you. Her face turns from disgusted curiosity to sheer annoyance. You. Wow, that's a lot of hair. That's a huge beehive hairdo, my God. Hey, Val, that's my assistant you got there. Do you mind? She rolls her eyes. You feel the grip on your neck loosen and awkwardly fall to your feet. Sorry about that. She makes her way towards DeAngelo, pushing you aside like a rag doll. Where is she? You're gonna have to be a bit more specific, darling. Don't play coy, Ginny. The manslayer. I know he's here. What? A blood hunt has begun. By order of the prince herself, the girl is to meet her final death. Hold your horses, honey. I'm conducting an investigation under the auspices of the sheriff. That counts for something, too. Look, sweetie, I'm not here for some clit measuring contest. Gross. Why did it be vulgar? You want this to get ugly? Be my guest. Otherwise, I suggest you step aside and let me do my job. By all means. First he says pube, and then she says clit. Gross. He steps aside in a comically exaggerated fashion. You look to the corner where you last saw Santa, but find no trace of the girl. I want more information about who does her hair. Well, I'll be. I could swear she was just here. Valerie looks at DeAngelo. She smiles softly, but you can tell she's trying very hard not to rip his head off. You'll regret this. Story of my life. Without another word, she turns on her heel and storms out. DeAngelo waves his hand in your general direction. Come on, kid. Let's get out of this shithole. Please. I would love to. As you emerge from said shithole, you feel the cool night breeze caress your face. It's soothing and almost makes you forget how shitty the last few hours have been. Almost. Okay, kid. I know you got questions, but it's getting early and I don't feel like having a Q&A session right now. For now, you get one question. Make it count. Who the hell is Valerie? Valerie. I guess I care, I guess, about the murders. But I'd really rather just know who Valerie is, because she seems horrifying and awful and just like a mean girl and like a hater. We're not friends. Valerie, huh? So who the hell is she? She's a scourge, kid. Oh. Makes sense. Part enforcer, part assassin, all around pain in the ass. If she finds that girl before we do, we'll never find out why she did what she did. And before you ask, yes, we've run into each other in the past. No, I don't feel like talking about it. All right, kid. I don't know about you, but I'm turning in. I'll figure some stuff up. Keep looking for our girl. Feel free to swing by the office in a night or two. And with that, he stumbles off into the distance, not even bothering to keep to the shadows. Can't say you blame him. It really has been a rough night. You can't sit with us! It's exactly how I feel about her. Okay, so anybody who's watching who doesn't know, I do lore videos of Vampire the Masquerade. I have Masquerade Monday. I do lore videos on Mondays. And I haven't talked about the Scourge yet, and I'm actually really curious about Blood Hunt. I have talked about before, specifically when I talked about the Camarilla, I talked about blood hunts. But I would like to see what they say about the Scourge. Not a whole lot. An executioner subordinated directly to the prince. Okay, so not a whole lot. There's more to a Scourge, but that's fine. I will get to it in my lore videos. I swear. I'm not sure. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. Oh. You guys are the best. I'm not sure if the Primogen has anything about Scourges on his channel. That would be something you could also check out if you wanted to know. All right, let's rest, shall we? In the last part, we also got to have like a really short thing with Kadir that was so awesome. And, you know, he took us to see our old boss and we got to like, you know, treat our boss like crap, like he's treated us like crap for so long. But that was it. And I mean, I'm just like, just love me. And it's so hard. He's rough and tough and not ready to be loved. Okay, so chat. Finally, I have my tea. In British English, this also means dinner. Yes, I know. I know that because I used to watch this TV show called... Oh, no. It's like a weight loss TV show in England, and it's called, like, Skinny versus something, or Super Skinny versus something. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but I used to watch that, and I would notice the weird terms they would use when they would talk about tea and dinner and stuff. All right, so chat, who would you like to go see? I'll give you a quick rundown. Let me know in the chat. So we can go see Agathon again. Agathon is the Tremere that we met before. He took us to the hotel where we became a vampire, and he made us watch the door while he performed some ritual, and then we left, and that's all we know. Benoit is the guy who invited us to the cathedral. He's pretty interesting. I don't know really what his end game is. This is the Stalker. This is the reporter after Sofie. Frank Doherty. What is it? Super fat versus super fat? Yeah, super size versus super skinny. Thank you, Scumbad. I used to watch that a lot because it's on YouTube, and I would always laugh at the different terminologies they would have for dinner. They would talk about tea. But I hate tea. Also, it was always weird that you guys put super fat. It was like softcore porn, was it? I can't go see my boyfriend, Melody, unfortunately. There's no option to go see him. We could go see Hope again. We could go see DeAngelo again. Or we could go see Tamika. Tamika, we got attacked by a feral and some hunters. So that was pretty interesting. So anybody but my boyfriend, unfortunately. I know it sucks. I think it sucks. I always liked super fat versus super skinny. I don't know why. I think I liked the doctor. I think he was like, you know, super nice or whatever. I don't know. I didn't know it was considered like softcore porn. And I used to watch another British show, Time to Talk to Frank. Okay, you mean Frank Doherty? We'll talk to Frank Doherty. That's totally cool. If that's cool with everybody. Drugs, man. There was another show with a woman. It was called like Secret Snackers or something like that. I watched that a bunch too. I like watching British shows. I don't know why. Talk to Frank was a drugs advice program in the 2000s in Britain. Oh, well, I wouldn't know that, would I? Well, we're going to talk to Frank Doherty anyway, because there was a little bit of a miscommunication on my part. The weather is cold and windy as you walk to Sophie's apartment. As a vampire, that doesn't matter anymore. You may have been saddled. Why is this ambiance so loud? It's like screaming into my headphones. Just here, though. Is it the ambiance? Just like turn all that shit a little bit down. Because it just like broke my eardrum real quick. Okay. Secret Eaters. Well, you guys are the best. You guys are really like the best. I can't remember all that stuff. It is. I do love British culture. I've always wanted to go to England. I'm obsessed with Henry VIII and Tudor stuff. So I've always wanted to go on the Wives of Henry VIII tour. It's like a 10-day tour. Like you go to Hever Castle and all other places where his wives lived. Lambeth too, I think it's another place you go. The weather is cold and windy as you walk to Sophie's apartment. As a vampire, that doesn't matter anymore. You may have been saddled with eternal hunger, but at least you can ignore the wind chill. Just as you come to the door of Sophie's building, she storms out, murmuring into her phone. Yes, I know. Don't worry, I trust you to handle it. You've heard Sophie talk to her associates before. It's always the same, generalities and vague suggestions. It makes you think she's involved in mysterious... Why are you guys giving me so many tongue twisters? Mysterious machinations, yet doesn't tell you anything. I do want to come visit. I can literally get on what is it called? Ryan's Air and like come to England for 20 euros. But I just haven't. I'm busy. I'm busy all the time. What did you miss? Not too much. We after last time we went and we visited DeAngelo, we caught up on the latest Red Hook murder, and now we're gonna go check in on Frank and Sophie to see what this reporter guy, if he's still after Sophie or not, I guess. Sophie is dressed to kill, but there's nothing unusual in that. She likes to make an impression. A black car with tinted windows is waiting for her in front of the door. A chauffeur steps out to open the car door for her. Ryan Air might as well swim. Well, here's the thing. If I had a car, I would just go, but I don't have a car. Living in Germany, you really don't even need a car. Everything is accessible via transport, except I can't get to England. I'd have to take a ferry with a car to get to England. So, I don't know, or can I? I actually have no idea if you can even drive to England. I know there's some sort of tunnel, but I don't think so. I'm totally ignorant and stupid. Don't worry about it. It's my thing. Sophie notices you. I'm glad you're in the neighborhood. If you could look around for me one more time, that would be wonderful. You told me you'd gotten rid of that reporter. Turns out he's still here, snooping around. Lads, let's go to Germany. Go ahead. Come to Germany. It's great. Sofie is very good at communicating disappointment. She doesn't have to do much to make it clear that she's unhappy to have to return to this issue. I thought there was a tunnel via France. Actually, I thought that. I go to France. Well, I don't go to France, but my in-laws go to France all the time. I think my mother-in-law goes to France like a couple times a month just to buy like coffee beans and stuff that she really likes over there. There's a coach that would take me to England? I know my wife isn't watching my stream. She's not home right now because she could care less about Vampire the Masquerade, although she's very supportive. Babe, let's go to England. Let's do it. She's been to England. My wife grew up in Europe, so she's been everywhere. She's been to Italy. She's been to England. She's been all over the place, you know? So nothing is really, like, new for her, which is so disappointing. Anyway. I will take care of it. I will take care of this Frank Doherty guy. After tonight, he won't trouble you anymore. I'll kid him. No. Good. Don't disappoint me. The reporter talked his way into the building during the day. Once the doorman understood what was happening, he threw the reporter out. He showed old pictures of me to my neighbors. It's very awkward, you understand. Sofie disappears into the car, and the chauffeur closes the door behind her. You watch as the sleek vehicle disappears into the Manhattan traffic, just one anonymous car among many. Also a train, Eurostar, bring your wife to, hold a convention. I don't know. My wife really wants to go to Scotland, and I keep telling her, I'm like, babe, Scotland and England, they're attached. Scotland's just really far north. I'll do the Henry VIII tour, and you can go play in Edinburgh, which is what she wants to do. It'd be totally fine. And then Melody, you have to come and bring your baby. And bring David, of course. You and David can go off to Italy because he wants to go to Italy so bad. Sofie disappears into the car, and the chauffeur closes the door behind her. You watch as the sleek vehicle disappears into the Manhattan traffic, just one anonymous car among many. Best sit down somewhere and devise a plan of action. You go to a nearby diner, settle into a booth, and order a coffee from the steely-eyed Latino waitress. As she brings you your cup, you describe Frank Doherty to her on the off chance she's seen something. Train from Berlin to Brussels, train to London, trains to Edinburgh. Am I saying Edinburgh right, by the way? I've been told I don't say it right. I live as far away from Berlin as you possibly can. Yeah, he's Italian, I know. I can walk to France, and it wouldn't be that far of a walk. I live right next to where the Rhine runs through France and Germany. So I'm on the total opposite end of the country from Berlin, so that doesn't help me. And Brussels is in Belgium, that doesn't help me either. Edinburgh. So I am saying it right. Okay, good. Good. Because, you know, Scottish people have a really particular way of talking, and I love it so much, and I would never want to offend anyone from Scotland. Just as she's about to answer, you happen to look outside. Something catches your eye. The diner is brightly lit, so you lean closer to the window to see the street through it. I'm really close to Strasbourg. Like 20 minutes away from Strasbourg, France. I live in Karlsruhe. You got lucky. Frank is standing on the sidewalk on the other side of the street, looking at something on his phone. You slide out of the booth, throwing a few small bills on the table. Mumbling something to the waitress, you step outside. You trust in the powers of the blood. Let's follow him. Let's follow him before we... I'm not good at being covert, but let's follow him anyway. For a reporter, Frank isn't terribly observant. You keep your distance, hiding behind people and cars, but he doesn't look around. It seems like he wants to find a private nook to inspect the photos he took tonight. Strasbourg to Paris, London to Edinburgh? That sounds good. I'll bring it up to my wife when she's home. An alley, he ducks in and you follow. Oh good, it's you again. Please, I'm working on a different story, I swear. Frank retreats deeper into the alley. A Huddy meet and greet? No, I'm getting my camera very soon. So you might very soon be graced with my actual face person thing. But we'll see. I need to get my set. I have a bunch of stuff I'm getting for Christmas. Some I'm getting myself and some I'm getting from other people. Where I'll have my setup looking better. Then you can see my face. Let's tell him we know why he's here, because he's obviously still working on that story. He's lying. Don't worry, Frank. I know all about why you're here. You do? I mean, okay, I'm sorry I tried to bullshit you. Just tell me how I can help you. I thought we agreed there's no story. How come you're here? I do love board games. I'm gonna be real with you. I play some mean board games. Monopoly Queen right here. Unless I lose, then you don't want to be around me. Usually when someone says there's no story, that means there is a story. I just couldn't let it go. Look, I don't want any trouble. I can see that you're serious. There is something to Sofie Langley. I think you know what it is. You take a long, hard look at Frank Doherty. He's a tenacious man, but not brave. After the last time you met, you were sure he had been dealt with. Where did he find the courage to come here again? What's your real angle? I like you, Frank. You don't give up. What's your real angle here? Everybody plays an angle. That's one of the things you learn in my profession. You can ask Vampire Penguin 09 what it's like when I lose a board game. I am the meanest landlord in Monopoly. I have the orphans, or the orphans. I have the family standing out in the snow with no home. I'm terrible. I'm like a tyrant. You're smart. You know that there will be others after me. If there's a real story, they will come and find it. Your best shot is with a friendly reporter, someone you can trust, like me. Yes, but just to be fair, I'm not actually a Tory supporter in real life. That is just my board game personality. Just to be perfectly clear. So what do you say? Get ahead of the story. It'll be good for you and Miss Langley too. You almost believe it, but something about Frank feels off. Frank is a nuisance. I think it's best to kill him at this point. I was actually hoping that I get a chance to kill him. I was hoping I got a chance to kill him the first time. I'm not a Tory, Elizabeth. Don't start that. I'm not super well versed on British politics, but I can tell you for sure that I don't support them. I'm not going to use presents on him again. I tried that already. It didn't, and he didn't stay away long enough. It's just about blackmail. You've already sunk pretty low, Frank, but blackmail, that's rock bottom. You sure you want to go that far? No, I still have my pride. I've never done this work for money. It's a lifestyle, a calling. Tory is a state of mind, if you say so. I'm just gonna end that. I don't talk about politics on my channel or on my Twitter or anything like that for an exact reason. I like to keep my personal stuff personal, usually. So. But feel free to call me a Tory in the comments. That is your right. Working on a speech, are we? I can see you're working on your Pulitzer acceptance speech. Fuck you, asshole. Fuck you. How about that? Sometimes I just need some extra money, that's all. Ah. So who's paying him? Now we're finally getting somewhere. There's a guy. He's paying me, that's all, but I can't talk about that. Yeah, you can. Drink Frank dry. I want to. I'm gonna do what Charles said, and I'm just gonna kill him. Because he's annoying. I'm sure he's a nice person, and I'm sure he's got a family that I'm gonna rob of a father, but I'm just kill him, whatever. It doesn't feel like you can get anything more out of him, or perhaps that's just something you tell yourself because you see the sweet, sweet blood moving under his skin. It's hard not to stare. Yeah, I'm drinking him dry. Elizabeth, is that a Tory move to just drink him dry? Frank is not a beautiful man, but you've learned that any mortal's veins can be appreciated if you look at them long enough. Blood is the great equalizer. Young or old, rich or poor, they all serve as sustenance to you. You decide to give up on Frank. If you drink him dry, he won't come back again. Yeah, although I agree drinking him dry is A, more fun, and B, I'm hungry again. I probably should have tried to get some more information on him to find out who's sending, because he'll just probably send somebody else, but I don't care. I don't care about Sophie's issues, really. Let's just make it a pleasant death, anyway. Although hurting him sounds fun, let's just make it a pleasant death. Well, he won't be going home to his kids. I know. That's sort of what I'm doing here. Let's just make it pleasant. You've grown to like Frank despite everything. You want to make his last moments pleasant. Close your eyes. I'll make you feel good. Ooh, slutty. Frank doesn't have time to react before you take him into your arms and gently bite down on his neck. The bliss of your bite overwhelms him and he moans in helpless desire. Rusted spaghetti, never forgetty. That's excellent. I'm stealing that. It's difficult to say whether Frank realizes you're killing him. He struggles weakly, but that could just be from the sensations your bite gives him. By the time life is really leaving his body, he can't do much more than lean on you. You've come to learn that all mortals taste a little different, the traces of their life showing in the blood in their veins. Their emotions push through, making each feeding different. It's a question of taste, not taste, whether you prefer your prey scared or aroused. Ew. You drink your fill as Frank goes weak in your arms, falling down, his body lifeless. I declare I'd rather have my people scared then. If the choices have your prey scared or aroused, I'm going with scared. Because, there was a richness to his blood that you appreciate. You've already learned that it's a mistake to judge the quality of blood based on the mortal's looks, and Frank certainly shows that to be true. There's a dumpster in the alley. Straining a little, you haul Frank's body into it. You tear at his clothes and take his wallet to make it look like a mugging gone wrong. Not long ago, doing something like this would have been inconceivable. Now it's just a feeding. Woof! Alrighty. Well, that was fun. Now we don't have to worry about his ass anymore. I prefer aroused, Elizabeth. Oh, man. Okay, so any thoughts about the next one? I think last time we had different... Let me just scroll back in my comments really quick. We had different opinions about going to Frank. And the other consensus was Tamika. All right. So let's go visit Tamika, which I'm excited about because I actually really like her character. Like, there's only 2 characters so far that I'm attracted to, let's say. And one is Aisling Sturbridge, which is the Tremere Agathon's sire, but I don't think she's romanceable. I just like her because she doesn't like me, and it like makes me want to make her like me. And of course, Kadir, but there's no option to go see him, which is so unfortunate. So let's go see Tamika. A tapping on the window, a small grayish bird flying off, a small piece of paper left on the windowsill. Prospect ASAP Tam. Let's do it. As you open the blinds, you're able to spot a small grayish bird flying off into the night. It's like I just read this. Looking down, you notice a small piece of paper on the windowsill. Prospect ASAP Tam. Oh, I'm sorry, Dre. Were you unhappy I killed Frank? I gave him a pleasant death. Third time's the charm, you think to yourself as you once again cross the gate of Prospect Park and head for Tamikas Haven. To your surprise, you find her out in the open, sitting on the lawn, surrounded by a host of woodland creatures, birds and squirrels mostly. Yeah, I know, I'm so weird, scumbag. I like Kadir because he was, like, mean to me and he was, like, gonna cut off my head, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of hot. And then Aisling is, like, looks at me like I'm a bug under her shoe, and I'm like, okay. But she's not, but the reason I don't like Valerie, the Scourge, is because she's crass. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't like that. Plus, I don't like her hair. Her hair is horrendous. I couldn't be seen with someone with that hair. The critters patiently await their turn as she flicks seeds at them. It looks almost whimsical in a twisted sort of a way. Oh, yeah, F's in the chat for Frank. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just a vampire doing what a vampire does, eating people. You wanted to see me? Yeah, I did. She scatters the remaining seeds onto the grass and hops to her feet. I am an odd duck. Don't even get me started. I've been doing some digging. The Inquisition got a safe house out in Manhattan. I think that's where they're keeping him, the scarred one, I mean. I want to pay them a visit, kill that thing and as many of those SI, which stands for Second Inquisition, bastards as I can along the way. Yeah, I guess if I'm gonna be a Ventrue, I may as well be a Tory, right? Makes sense. That's a terrible idea. Is it really worth it? I know you want revenge for your sister, but at the very least, it's a clear violation of the Masquerade. Don't know how much Tamika cares about the Masquerade, which is why I didn't pick that one. Yeah, and that's the least of our worries. Throw in a legion of armed goons standing in our way, and an all-powerful vampire as the cherry on top. Forget Frank. We have some dissenting opinions about Frank in the chat, which is interesting. But there's more to it than just revenge. I think it can help me find out who I really am. I know it sounds corny, but I can't really explain it any better than that. Trust me. Oh, my dog is snoring, don't mind that. Trust me, I'm not taking this lightly. It's just something I have to do, with or without you. Oh, looks like I don't have much of a choice. Just so we're clear, I think it's a terrible idea, but I can't just sit around while you're getting yourself killed, so yeah, I'm going with you. So am I. He emerges, he's always just like hanging around somewhere and just like popping out at, you know, just to make an entrance. Annoying. I find him annoying. You love Valerie's hair? Really? Oh no, do you love Tamika's hair, Melody? Elizabeth, are you really asking if people like Chunk or Frank more? Because I think that's insulting to Chunk. Because Chunk is my cherry red gummy bear. He emerges from the shadows a mere few feet away from you. Son of a gun finally managed to sneak up on you. He's so annoying. Tamika eyeballs him as he gets closer. You've seen that look before. She's clearly asserting her position, but this time it comes off as a formality rather than an actual challenge. How long have you been there, Raoul? Long enough. I'm still not buying that whole scarred one bullcrap, but taking a bite out of the Inquisition's collective ass is just too good to pass up. I want in. Why would your sister lie to you? Who are you gonna believe if not your sister? I never said she was lying. More like exaggerating just enough to keep me away from the action. 'Cause you know, little old me couldn't possibly look after himself. Myself. Now, can we move this along? I'm itching to kill me some SI fucks. Chunk, mein Gummibärchen. Chunk is mein Gummibärchen. I need water. I need to take a quick potty break, guys, sorry. I will be back in 1 minute. That's alright, it's really close to Gummibärchen in German. Sorry if you heard my dog barking. My neighbors are assholes, and they're the most assholish on Saturdays. Because they decide to have like party time in their apartment in our thin ass walls. And right now they're like playing this massive bass next door. My dog hates it, and I hate it. So let's go. Yeah, he is a loose cannon. I can tell he's a loose cannon because he's so irritating. But I guess we can bring him with us. I guess we could use you. We need all the help we can get. Hello, Cloud. Yeah. Yeah. He deserves to be there. See the scarred one with his own eyes. And it's so mean because my dog was sleeping. Plus, my brother can be a pain in the ass, but he's one hell of a fighter. Raoul nods. A smile creeps up in the corner of his mouth. It's barely visible, but you can tell it pleased him to no end. She might as well have rubbed his tummy. That's correct. You cannot make noise here on Sunday because Sundays are Uhrzeit. So. Oh, you grew up in Denmark. Okay. That's interesting. That's super interesting. Do you speak Danish? Oh, I clicked the page and didn't read it. Good job, me. It's settled then. Let's go. I'm sure they're just working out how we're gonna go. Fucking finally. Yeah, come on, let's go. And with that, you leave the relative safety of Prospect Park, steeling yourself for things to come. As you get closer to your destination, you get the sneaking suspicion that Tamika's been pulling your leg. Following her lead, you take a turn from Broadway into Fort Tyrone Park. Tryon? It doesn't seem to make sense, you think to yourself. There's only one spot between here and the Hudson River, but it can't be, can it? Sure enough, as the stone facade of the cloisters come into view, Tamika motions at you to keep out of sight. How the hell is this well-known tourist trap a hideout of the Second Inquisition? Yes, you speak a little, I assume is what that means. The cloisters? Seriously? That's the Inquisition's safe house? Talk about hiding in plain sight, huh? This place used to be a lot of things. Now it serves as a staging ground for the Inquisition. If my sources are to be trusted, and they usually are, they brought him here for what they call processing. Doubt they'll keep him here for long, though. If we want to get to him, it's now or never. As if on cue, a group of armed guards walks out of the museum, pushing a gurney with a large steel container on top of it. As they wheel it out into the open, a truck approaches. The operatives start preparing to load the crate onto the vehicle. You scan the area, trying to do a head count. Tamika beats you to it. I count at least 7, probably more inside. We should do this quietly, take them out one by one. Raoul frowns. I say we go in guns blazing, figuratively speaking. If there's more inside, let them come. The more, the merrier. During the summer, Germans come to Denmark for the weekend and make loads of noise on Saturday, so the next morning Danish grannies come ring bells outside whilst they're hungover. Yeah, I try to get up really early the next morning and just like make a big breakfast and be really loud. I need to go next door and I need to knock on their door and talk to them because it's making my dog cry, and my cat is meowing as well. Neither of my animals like noise, so I'm so sorry if this takes a little bit longer, but I have to put on shoes and go walk across the hall. I really do apologize. If you can't stay, I totally understand. Oh my god, okay, these people are horrible. They're so horrible. They're so young, and they're playing this horrible, like, J-pop kawaii music, and they're, like, have their door open. They don't even have their door closed in the apartment building, in the Treppenhaus, what we call it, the hallway. They have their door open, and they're having, like, an party with J-pop music, and I'm like, this is not a fraternity. We don't have fraternities here in Germany, but this is not a fraternity. This is not a WG, or there's even like buildings here that are WGs that are where flatmates all live together, right? Where it's basically like a fraternity. It's usually college students live in them. This is just a regular fucking building, okay? Go, you know, do your pre-game and then go to the fucking club and stop fucking, oh, so annoying. I'm sorry, I don't mean to swear. So annoying. It's like every Saturday and I hate it. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get back to the game. Enough with it. I say we go in guns blazing, figuratively speaking. If there's more inside, let them come. The more the merrier. Yeah, they're basically doing a glow stick dance in the hallway. It's horrible. Let's go with the frontal assault. No, that sounds like a dumb idea. Why don't I talk to them? That also sounds like a dumb idea. They're the Second Inquisition. Youth hostel, no. It's literally where they live. They pay rent and everything, and they live there. But there's specific buildings that are, like, designated for people who are in college or whatever, or who live with a bunch of roommates. Like 4 roommates to an apartment. And just like we have special buildings here that are just for people who have handicapped children, things like that. Yeah, I think the stealthy approach would be the best idea, just as Charles Yang pops up, because the bottom and the top one sound dumb as hell. So let's try the stealthy approach. Tamika's right. We should get in quietly, take them out one by one. Tamika nods in silence. A youth hostel here, Elizabeth, by the way, is Jugendherberge. By the way. Fine. Then let's do this already, before you two bore me to final death. It's probably what I'm doing, complaining about my apartment problems. Student halls. Yes, that's what they are. That's exactly what they are. You split up, aiming to cover as much ground as possible. Sticking to the shadows, you advance, keeping track of one another's progress. You hardly even notice as Tamika takes out the first guard, not a peep out of him. Trying to keep up, Raoul kills the one to your left. He's sloppy, takes his sweet-ass time bleeding the guy out. With his dying breath, the man lets out a yelp, drawing the attention of one of his comrades. With the guard fast approaching, you ponder your options. Oh, slice his throat with my fangs. That sounds fun. That sounds way more fun than choking him out. Do that one. As the guard walks by, you leap out of the shadows and use the sharpest weapon you have on you, your fangs, to slice his throat open. With his windpipe severed, he lets out a silent gurgle as he expires. Carefully, you lay his dead body on the dirt. Bad ass. Bad period ass period. Looking to the side, you notice Raoul looking back at you. He nods, looking almost semi-impressed. 3 down, 4 to go. You keep a steady pace, moving across the courtyard, picking the guards one by one. Tamika does her part. 3 to go. Yeah, I know. We have a pair of students who live on the ground floor. We live on the 3rd floor. I live on the ground floor, and then we have a pair of students who live on our floor. It's horrendous. Raoul gets messy again. At least this time, he's quiet. Oh, my tea's probably cold. Even better. Oh. Even grosser. Yeah, well, you get to live... you're moving, and B, Vampire Penguin, you get to live in a house. So lucky. With only 2 of them left, you pick one for yourself and gesture at one of your fellow ferals to take care of the other. Tamika's quieter, but Raoul's closer. Which one will it be? I would go with Tamika over Raoul, because Raoul will fuck it up. He just will. He just has that look about him. He has a I'ma fuck this up look about him. You wave your hand at Tam, pointing at her final target. She nods and starts making her way towards him. Suddenly, by virtue of sheer luck, he turns around just as she's about to pounce. Great. His scream is quickly muffled, but still loud enough for the very last guard to hear. Great. Good job, Tamika. I trusted you, damn it. I'm only drinking tea because I have it with honey in it because my throat gets really, like, sore reading all this stuff. Draw Distance, the people who developed this game, they made a statement on Twitter the other day. There's like a ridiculous amount, like 2 million words of dialogue in this game, so it's so much reading. I need something to coat my throat a little bit. I could drink warm milk, I guess. As all three of you approach him, the dire reality of the situation hits him like a ton of bricks. Paralyzed with fear, he keeps shifting his aim from you to Tamika to Raoul. He is severely fucked and he knows it. And since you're standing closest to him, you might as well do the honors. Mess with him a little? No! Why would you mess with him? What are you, a psycho? Just kill him. You walk over to the quivering mess that mere minutes ago thought himself the toughest of the tough. Before he can react, you slap the gun out of his hands, lean in, and smile. You want my address? I have plenty of tea. I appreciate you offering me some nice tea. I have so much tea. Tea is so popular here in Germany. I just hate it. I hate it so much. But hit me up on Twitter if you want my address, and you can send me some tea. And I'll drink it during my live streams. No, I will not come around to tea. Stop. Just stop. The only kind of tea I don't hate is a willow bark tea, and that's only if I'm, like, sore. Because it's basically acts like aspirin. Can't talk. Hi. Half a second later, your fangs are already halfway to his windpipe. The blood tastes sour, with a hint of cowardice and regret. Could have gone out with a bang, chose to go out with a gurgle. Oh well. With the SI operatives taken care of, you turn your attention to the container sitting in the middle of the courtyard. Using your combined strength, you make quick work of the steel door. As you walk in, moonlight from behind you illuminates a twisted figure huddled on the floor. It's hard to believe that the thing that lies before you, beaten and tortured within an inch of his unlife, is the same creature you fought back at the cemetery. What the fuck is that thing? I may have liked jasmine tea, the one you made me. That is a possibility, but I don't necessarily remember it. The boogeyman. Why, it's the boogeyman, Raoul. Turns out he's real. Who knew, huh? His lips move silently as if searching for the right words. He looks to you, then turns to his sister, as if waiting for a sign. For a moment, Tamika just stands there. She looks down at the scarred one, the once fearful boogeyman whose very mention would strike terror in the hearts of her tribe, now reduced to a whimpering pile of flesh. I should say, Elizabeth, I know British people put milk in their tea. I don't put milk in tea. If I drink any tea at all, I drink herbal tea, and I will sometimes put honey in it. Just depends. Mostly, I don't put anything in it. Finally, she turns to you with a look of childish innocence mixed with confusion. Then she looks back at the scarred one. You can tell she's lost. Tam, what the hell are you waiting for? Let's kill this thing and get out of here. It's your choice, Tamika. This is your choice. I can't make it for you. She turns to you with a look of pride mixed with desperation. I'm not asking you to. Do it, Tam. You know he deserves it. Hell, looks like you'll be doing him a favor. Whatever you do, there will be consequences, whether you let him live or let him go. Do what you will, just be ready to live with the consequences. That is the most diplomatic way you can put this whole situation. Suddenly, the very air around you seems to thicken. You look over to Tamika. She's not quivering anymore. She walks up to the scarred one. The pitiful creature presses itself into the corner in a desperate and futile attempt to crawl away. Without a word, she grabs him by the ears, sinking her claws in the sides of his head. She looks him dead in the eye. Her voice is surprisingly warm, almost soothing. You can rest now, brother. In one fluid motion, she twists his neck off his shoulders. The snapping sound is both sickening and satisfying. The empty husk of the once fearful beast falls to the floor like a slab of meat. Jesus, Tam, that was... What the hell was that? The closure. Hopefully some closure. Standing outside the steel container, the three of you take a moment to gather your thoughts. You look at one another, at the blood staining your hands, clothes, and faces. In the pale moonlight, it appears black and shiny, like a fresh ink stain on a fresh sheet of paper. I have never tried oolong tea, and I don't know about milk going in tea. My mom used to drink tea, and she'd always put milk in it no matter what kind of tea it was, and I just know in England you guys put milk in tea. That's literally the extent of my knowledge about milk and tea. But I don't like it, that's all I know. Without another word, you head back towards the city lights. The journey back takes longer than it did the other way around. With bits and pieces of the Second Inquisition still stuck to your clothes, you decide to play it safe by sticking to back alleys and cutting through the darker corners of the city. Tamika keeps several steps ahead. Both you and Raoul are quite content to follow her lead. You can tell these last few nights have taken a toll on her, but not necessarily in a bad way. She seems stronger somehow, confident, more in tune with herself. Soon the awkward silence proves unbearable enough that you're willing to risk making small talk with Raoul. You guys only put it in black tea? I trust you. I believe you. I'm still not sure what happened back there. You wouldn't? Yeah, because I'm not a gangrel. It's not something one of your lineage could understand. Our lineage, we have a special relationship with the beast. We can either let it control us or become attuned to it. It's a constant struggle, marked with difficult choices. I think Tam just made one of them. Pondering what you've just heard, the rest of the way barely registers. To your surprise, you suddenly find yourself back at Prospect. Tamika keeps walking. She strides through the park gate like a queen of old, returning after a victorious conquest. You want to call out to her, but Raoul stops you with a gesture. Not yet. Give her some time to process all this shit. She'll let you know when she's ready. And hey, you did all right. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're still an asshole, but yeah, thanks. He smiles at you. Wonders never cease. See you around. And with that, he follows in his sister's footsteps. A weird smile creeps on your face as you meld into the New York night. Sweet. Time to rest. You guys are just talking about tea. That is totally fine. You guys talk away about tea. I actually really like that. Besides Kadir, Tamika is probably one of the most interesting characters, in my opinion. Let's rest, and let's hope Kadir comes to visit again. Come on. Sofie requests, damn it, your presence tonight, and it seems urgent. You find her already waiting for you and clearly considering something. It takes some minutes of awkward silence before she speaks. I require your assistance, Huddy. There is a matter of great importance that I need to ask you to resolve for me. You will find what I'm about to say surprising, I'm sure, but I need you to hear me out. I need you to contact an important anarch figure in New York City and arrange a meeting for us. Okay. What business do you have meeting anarchs? They're the enemies of the Camarilla, isn't that right? That is nominally true. There is much bad blood between our factions, but it's not as simple as a state of constant war. You will find that with this, as with many other things, the Camarilla's policies have more than their share of hypocrisy inherent to them. It comes hand in hand with using medieval power structures. What we are forbidden to do, the prince may do willingly. Some of these things can be done in the open, others are kept secret as not to invite discord and discontent. I need to contact a man named Torque. He is an influential member of the movement, and like most of them, very suspicious of the Camarilla. That's why I'm sending you to extend my invitation. What are you scheming? Say I arrange the meeting. What's next? I have something to offer, Torque. A chance to set things straight, both for the Anarchs and for us. Especially for us. From my limited sources adjacent to the movement, I've gathered that your best chance to speak to Torque is to first meet with his right-hand woman, Mia. She's a regular at a club called the Leech Pit. I think it would be best if you presented yourself as an anarch hopeful, a fledgling looking for a place to belong. Only once you talk to Torque directly should you mention my name and the meeting. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. If I open with I'm with the Camarilla, they might cut me off. We can lay out our cards on the table once I have his attention. My thoughts exactly. After tonight, I suggest that we do not speak of this again until you arrange the meeting. There are many who would jump at the chance to use this against us. With Kaiser, you have proven you can get the job done, even if it requires additional legwork. I am trusting you to deal with this task as quickly and covertly as possible. Yeah, the best coffee I ever had was also at Café Du Monde in New Orleans, because they put a little hickory in the coffee, and it's so good. Forgive me, but that's all the time I can spare tonight. What I'm asking of you is just a part of a bigger whole. Trust me, it will all be worth it. I'll do my best, I guess, because what else am I going to say? I know you will. Check with Gregory for the address of the Leech Pit. Have Mia introduce you to Torque. When she does, tell him I wish to meet. Let him pick the time and place, but let it be soon. If he proves too guarded, tell him I have something that will help him gather allies against Boss Callahan. That should pique his interest. Good luck, and obviously, not a word about this to anyone else, not even any new friends you might have made in recent nights. This stays between us. The way she says that final sentence suggests a not-so-veiled threat, but her warm smile belies that impression. You want her to keep trusting you. You wouldn't want to disappoint her. Gregory gives you the address. The club is in Brooklyn. Apparently it's some kind of heavy metal pub with a dedicated concert space. Time to pay this Mia a visit. Oh, look at the club! Look at this rando guy right here. Looks so weird. This place is teeming with people tonight. You arrive in the middle of a concert. The music is loud, almost deafening, and it takes you a while to get used to it. This is not your scene at all. You can barely focus through the noise, but grit your teeth and decide to just bear it. The sooner you find Mia, the sooner you'll get out of this hole. A group of a few dozen patrons are tightly packed in, and the smell of their sweat and youthful, excited blood overwhelms you momentarily. It's with some difficulty that you turn to the task at hand. You've heard your share about the anarchs and how they fit into kindred politics, but you only have your short encounter in Corona Park to base your actual opinion of the faction on. So loud in here. Let me know if it's too loud for you guys, because it's like blowing up my headphones. That might have been just a horrible first impression, but you're keeping your guard up just in case. Let's mingle in with the crowd. Let's not be too hasty. We have all night. We could maybe dance a little bit. It's fine. Pretend to have a beer. You take a walk around the club. There's a few side rooms and a spacious bar area. You listen in on conversations taking place with voices hoarse from shouting, walk in on a particularly sloppy threesome in the bathroom, gross, and eventually hit the floor for a better feel of the room. I have never seen Princess and the Frog, Elizabeth, so I can't tell you if it's the same. But Vampire Penguin probably can. As the concert's coming to an end, you witness one of the guests, a feisty-looking girl, get into a scuffle with a much larger and drunk guy. I'm glad it's okay on your guys' speakers. She doesn't seem to appreciate him reaching around her waist, slapping him with an audible crack that sends him to the ground unconscious. Hilarious. Two bouncers break up the crowd and pick up the drunk to carry him out, without so much as questioning the woman. You get an inkling that she might be who you were hoping to find. You approach her as she's about to leave. Yeah, the fuck you want? She's still seething and bares her teeth for just a moment, but you've learned what to look for in kindred. You're pretty sure she's one of you. Heard you're into anarchy. I want to learn about anarchy. You wouldn't happen to have some first-hand experience, would you? Seriously? That's the best line you can come up with? She doesn't smile, but she doesn't hit you either. Follow me behind the bar. She leads you through the bar to a back door, oh thank God, that leads inside a side room. Indie metal band posters are plastered on every wall, some of them 20 or more years old, judging from the tour dates. An old sticky table and some rickety chairs are the only pieces of furniture here. Sit down. I think I'm comfortable. Thanks. She shrugs her arms. Suit yourself. She leans on one of the walls. I imagine the bar stools are all sticky. The name's Mia. I'm guessing your visit here isn't a happy coincidence? I don't know you, so you're either new in New York or kept an outstandingly low profile. Both sound suspect. So before we take with these pleasantries any further, answer me this. Who do you run with? I'm just going to say I'm independent. Because I'm not going to say Sofie, I'm not going to say Camarella, I'm just going to say I'm independent. I don't bow to anyone. Isn't that adorable? Listen, Fledgling, you don't get to be this fresh in the game and not pick a side. Those Second Inquisition fucks are all too happy to pick on a delusional kid like you. So are the cams. They offer you rewards aplenty for your servitude, but never actually deliver. Fortunately for you, there's another option. Before I get to that, let's get one thing out of the way. She leans in. If this is some clever ploy to oust me out of my domain, or if you're just here to spy on me and the movement, make sure that you don't enjoy undeath much longer. Got it? You can tell it's a purely rhetorical question. Right. Here's the pitch. The Camarilla like to think they're the vanilla option, but with Prince Bitch Panhard pretending that they were always in charge. But New York has never been a fully cammy city. They might have won the city in 1999, but cams got their asses handed to them many times over the years, and the movement has been here at least as long as they have. Hell, I've moved to New York City before World War II. That was a good while after I've seen the Camarilla for what it is, a way to keep us all in line and subservient. The ivory tower will tell you they're the only safeguard for the traditions. That's kind of the problem. There's only one tradition we in the movement feel should be respected. Masquerade, obviously. Everything else? Ask the prince, and she'll tell you it's the logical continuation of the Masquerade, but really, it's just a way to keep the elders powerful and in control. She grimaces. But here's the thing. For all the talk of us bloodsuckers being solitary creatures, we need a community to keep up the Masquerade. Community, yes, but authority, not so much. We need a council of peers to keep the assholes and power-drunk fledglings in check, but not a feudal prince to tell you where to feed or who to hunt down when they step on her toes. She takes a brief break in her indignant rant. So, you anarchs don't have a ruler? A ruler? No. But leaders? Sure. Most follow old boss Callahan's lead. Is Callahan like an anarch prince? Yeah, that's about right, which isn't the way things should be. If you're concerned about being well received in the city, you might need to go through Callahan, but if you're serious about the anarch cause itself, he's not your guy. Callahan eats up fledglings like you and shits out self-preservation. His position as Baron is mighty shaky now, not at least due to the fact he's backstabbed more than his share of allies. So he's doing what any old other fart in a position of power would do. He's doubling down. Negotiations are out. Intimidation is in. Tightening ranks is a precaution against the Second Inquisition. She surprises you by hacking and spitting on the ground in disgust. If you've spent some time with the Cams, that should sound very familiar to you. He's no better than Panhard and her cronies are at this point. No, you need to contact Torque, and wouldn't you know it, it's your lucky night, because I'm the lick to do it through. Uh-huh. Yep, good. We want to meet Torque. Why can't I just meet him, though? Wouldn't you know it, it's your lucky night, because I'm the lick to do it through. Okay, we'll just ask why we can't just meet him directly, why she has to be the middleman, but we already knew she had to be the middleman, because Sofie told us, but we'll just play dumb anyway. Nope, because I'm not sure if he wants to meet you. Plus, you could be Callahan's flunky, or Camarilla spy, or an Inquisition collaborator, or all of these at once. I know basically nothing about you, so there's no way I'm just pointing you in the direction of a guy whose work I respect. Torque is a leader, a local baron, who's overseeing a small domain, but he's doing a very good job of it. Callahan knows this, so he's giving him shit. Torque is taking it like a champ. He's smart like that. For one of us rebels, he's got the patience of a saint. Makes you think back to how things used to be back when, The stories are to be believed. Anyway, you want to meet him? I'm going to require a show of goodwill first. Yep. What do you have in mind? That's fair. She flashes you a mischievous half smile. I appreciate your readiness, but I don't have the details just now. Ask for me at the bar when you're able. I'll leave something for you and we'll take it from there. Now come on, I gotta be going. She walks you out of the bar and you go your separate ways. Seems like there's nothing more to do than return here later and see if Mia really can help you contact Torque. Okay. A strange interlude. Okay, well, fascinating. Any idea where we want to go next? I really liked Benoit. He was super interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing him again. Or Hope. She's crazy, but she's also fun. Or trying to find out who this stalker is would also be fun. But I'll let you guys decide. Hi. While you decide, I'm going to go check on my cat because I just heard him knock something down in my bedroom. And I think I know what it was. Probably my dream catcher. All right, everyone says Hope. And for the record, did not knock down the Dreamcatcher, knock down the picture I have of my wife on my bedside table. For whatever reason. Hope. Hope it is. Kara wants to meet. Yes, Kara is the person, let me move my microphone for a second, that Hope talked to after the accident in the last part. When you reach the cafe, you're welcomed by a familiar face of the waiter who first led you inside. You exchange looks and nods. He hides his vaping pen in a back pocket. She's been expecting you. Something happened to her car and she hasn't exactly been leaving her room ever since. Yeah, we know. He scratches his head, shrugs, and gestures at you to follow him. It's the same route as before, first beyond the locked door at the end of the room with all the computers, then into an endless gray labyrinth. Labyrinth is spelled wrong. Finally, you reach a door that would look like any other around here to a random bystander. Of course, by now you know that Hope's Haven lies beyond it. The waiter bids you adieu with an exaggerated bow and starts walking back to the cafe. You enter the familiar room. This time the lights inside are on. Hope is inside, walking around nervously, overseeing every screen in her sight. When she spots you, she wastes no time on introductions. Kara Montgomery, what do you know of her? I know the name because you said it last time. You could have seen her in listicles such as Top 5 Badass Women of Tech 2018, 12 CEOs who spark innovation through empathy, or 20 entrepreneurs with mysterious ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, that's that's quite apropos, isn't it? You don't get to voice your answer. The question was just a minor courtesy. She has a monologue to deliver and she won't allow an interruption. 20 years ago, she was a failed .com investor. Now she's CEO of Double Spiral, a brand management startup working at the crossroads of big data and influencer culture. The quotation marks are audible, dripping with venom. Long story short, she spent years convincing her Camarilla contacts, as in out-of-touch old farts mad about smartphones, that Kindred can benefit from controlling the internet. Her IT ghouls have done a lot of research on deep fakes, AI, and machine learning. Her goal is an ability to generate thousands of believably human online accounts. Basically, an army of posters does she mean posers? Posters that could brute force anything into the mainstream discourse. The elders took a while to get the concept, but eventually, Kara got their blessings. The thing is, she claims her tech is ready to be tested, but it needs one final component to work properly, and that's why... She pauses. She proposed a truce. Fuck her. What truce? The become my friend or face a violent death kind of truce. Not exactly fucking convincing if you ask me. But no matter how much I hate her guts, this is a blessing in disguise. Hear me out. She picked up a public place in Manhattan, neutral grounds where we can meet without fear that the other party might do something stupid and violate the Masquerade. She wants to just talk. Kara works with the Russians. You will go there in my place and listen to her terms. We won't accept them, of course, especially not after she's just tried to kill us. You will just steal her voice and walk away. Steal her voice? What next? Will you trade her a Little Mermaid reference. Will you trade her mermaid tail for legs? A Disney joke? Sweet. What next? Will you hit me with a topical Harry Potter reference? I don't know. You hit me with a Jeffrey Epstein reference. What do you want from me? I'm not trying to be obtuse here. Wait a second and let me explain my plan. You see, there is only one way to even the odds. We have to hit Kara where it hurts, and she's only got one weak point. Double spiral headquarters. Kara's the only person there who's got access to every room. The security is something she came up with herself, voice-based, but based on a different password phrase every time. That means just recording her talk is not enough if we want to get in. That's why I started selling illicit materials to people with access to advanced deepfake audio technology. I've got it right in this room, and now all I need is a sample base that will allow me to manufacture a bot that talks to her. To monitor data, I need to stand behind. May I, Slytherin? Still, I think the plan is pretty simple. You talk to her while wearing a wire, I process the recordings here to steal her voice, and voila, she's wide open. Then, we invade Double Spiral and destroy it from within. The evil is defeated, I become part of your crew, happy ending for everybody. How does that sound to you? Sounds fun. Super fun. Happy to hear it. Hope shakes her head and claps her hands. When she speaks up, she sounds different, more spaced out, stuttering. All right, let me fix you up with the hardware. She hands you a minuscule earpiece and starts attaching a small decorative pin to your clothes, along with some masked wiring. Why is there no sound at all anymore? It's a directional microphone. I can clean up the audio later, but keep it pointed directly at Kara as much as possible, all right? You put on the headphone she gave you. It fits snugly deep inside your ear. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The hardware works flawlessly. The audio quality seems great. You give Hope an affirmative sign with your head. Beautiful. Kara designated the meeting place as Vessel. You've heard about the place, right? It's right by the eastern end of the Lincoln Tunnel. A giant pile of staircases, basically impossible to miss. Manhattan's answer to Eiffel Tower, or a gaudy monument to being only ever so slightly free, depending on who you ask. Da tovarish. Speaking of Harry Potter and Russian stuff, isn't there a Harry Potter where there's some Russian witches? Or is that like some false memory or fever dream I'm having? I drive you there, but my car is still in the workshop, and I don't want to risk being spotted by Kara's people, and I need to process the voice data from here. Which means I have a perfectly acceptable number of excuses for not letting myself get anywhere close to that demonic old hag. You involuntarily roll your eyes a little bit. Hope sits in front of her screens, pretending not to have noticed. So are we getting this show on the road or what? Ready whenever you are. There's the sound again. No sense lingering here. You get back to the street and find your car. Wrapping up this show as quickly as possible sounds like a good idea. Okay, give Arkin lots and lots of kisses on his little cheeks for me. Thank you for joining the stream, sweetie. I love you. I'll talk to you later. Around 30 minutes, you are in front of Vessel. Hope's description, a giant pile of staircases, wasn't particularly helpful. From the distance, the building looks more like a giant honeycomb, designed to swarm with tourist bees. At least during the day, that is. At the moment, the place is closed to general public. A few men who look vaguely threatening and out of place are making sure nobody unwanted gets in. However, you have no problem getting up the stairs. All it takes is an exchange of knowing glances with one of the guards. You are expected. That was in the 4th book during the Quidditch World Cup. I never read the books. I've only seen the movies. So, Goblet of Fire, is that correct? I'm not a Harry Potter fanatic. I know a lot about Harry Potter, but I was never part of the fandom, I guess. A lone figure appears in your sight, staring down at the streets of Manhattan. My wife loves Harry Potter. It's the only reason why I know so much. You know, city people often complain about being unable to see the starry skies, but I always thought the real tragedy is how they're unable to appreciate man-made sea of lights that surround them. You can teach people a lot of things, but you can't teach them to see, huh? You recognize the face from Hope's phone. Finally, you met Kara Montgomery in the flesh. She turns to you, puts on a wide smile, and shakes your hand with a firm grip. First, a representative of Sofie Langley, now a representative of Hope. Not the way I'd develop my own career, but I gotta say, not many neonates get around the way you do. Hardy fucking har. Hope speaks up in your ear for the first time, seething with contempt. Although Kara couldn't possibly have heard her, she immediately goes to address her absence. I will read the books. I should. I never did. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure Vampire Penguin read them all, and my wife's read them all. If she likes Ron is awesome in the books, bollocks to the films. I don't know. I actually don't know her feelings about the characters. That makes me a terrible spouse, I think. Hope speaks up in your ear for the first time, seething with contempt. Although Kara couldn't possibly have heard her, she immediately goes to address her absence. Can't say I expected you to actually arrive here with you or instead of you. On the other hand, I'm sure every single word I say will be instantly relayed to her. And for the first time in forever, your empty blabbering will serve an actually useful cause. So let me make sure we cut out everyone but the middleman for a while, okay? She takes out her phone and taps the touchscreen. In a few seconds, the barely perceptible buzzing sound in your ear disappears completely. I can't ask her because she's not home, but I will ask her. I promise. You can't hear Hope anymore. It's probable she can't hear your voice right now either, which would mean she must be busy raging and cursing out everything and everyone in her sight at the moment. Why are they all so damn fine? This obviously wasn't something she expected to happen. Could it be that Kara saw through your plan? You have to play it cool and see what happens. Knowing Hope, you've probably heard whatever scraps can be Googled about me and a pile of insults for a good measure. Obviously, I know everything there's to be known about you as well, Huddy. I don't believe we have had a need for formal introductions. What? I don't believe we have a need for formal introductions. But first off, let me apologize for the discomfort my former employee has caused you. I wasn't remotely aware of his planned actions against Hope. I fully condemn them. I'm glad to see you unharmed, and, of course, applaud your swift disposal of the psycho. Langley chose you well. Brief silence. I don't believe her. So let me cut to the chase here, present myself the best way I know how, through my ideas. What do you think has a monopoly on reality? What a bizarre question. Not much for small talk, is she? Who do you think has a monopoly on reality? The corporations? I assume that's where she's going with us. That's a fairly typical answer, very 21st century sounding. Have they succeeded in replacing the state here, though? She signals to someone behind you. For a while, you've been watched by Kara's men who circle around the staircases, presumably her ghouls. One of them sets off downstairs. You know, Bolivia just had a military coup. Hundreds of new accounts posting about nothing but Bolivian politics in English set out to convince every random person online USA wasn't to blame. Sloppy work, if you ask me. Now imagine this. A 17-year-old K-pop fan from Ohio doing an entire thread about how her relatives in La Paz are actually glad the president is gone. A film reviewer with side interest in politics selling you a CIA-improved narrative about Evo Morales. An approachable fitness guy explaining the situation to you in simple terms, just like it is. Animated voice, expressive gestures, and steady eye contact. She's taught herself how to project a good image, but isn't a natural yet. At times, it feels as if she was screaming at you to trust her. It's not hard to emulate the masses. Reach out to one of those Eastern European troll farms, bang. A few hours later, you have a clone army that will instantly voice their support for any cause. You will spread your message, but you won't foster a new culture that serves your goals, won't masquerade your messaging as independent thought. For that, you need personalities, not the masses. But getting to emulate personalities, that's a whole different ballpark, not a craft, but an art. You need to understand your fabrication so deeply you start to hate it, and then learn to love it. And if you want to make a bunch of those personalities to follow one agenda, you need a once-in-a-lifetime team to achieve that, a like-minded artistic collective both ambitious and obedient. Even though you can't hear Hope's voice in your ear right now, you could swear you hear her in Kara's speech. It's the exact same tone she was using when monologuing in the car. One of them must have been a big influence on another, or perhaps they used to be in a position where they were both shaping each other's personas. Hard to say. Only one thing is for sure, and that is Hope must be absolutely furious right now. Is it possible Kara knew about her plot? Fingers crossed she didn't. I am suspicious now because Kara is blonde and Hope is blonde and Kara's dressed up so that we can't see any of Hope's tattoos. So I'm wondering if this is a Jeanette and Therese type of a thing where Kara is Hope and Hope is Kara. I try and do different voices. I'm not a good reader. I'm not a good reader and I'm not a good imitator of voices, but I really try to make it interesting. The state is satisfied when an account that went unused for 5 years suddenly starts yelling imperialist propaganda into the void. The aging corporations are too set in their ways. But imagine a fresh startup that enabled proliferation of ideas adjacent to the prince's plans for the future. Now imagine it getting into bed with the biggest corporations and agencies. I don't know Liquid Ocelot. I don't know that reference. You gotta explain it to me. So many unlives that could be improved or even saved from the raids of First Light. I have the infrastructure. I have the elder support. All I need now is a mastermind at the center of it all. Who is? Yes, Hope. She looks down and takes in the scenery below for a while. Then she points at her t-shirt, one piece of clothing that's clashing with the rest of her outfit. You know, I'm a huge fan of punk. The leading idea of my company, Double Spiral, is to make everything I do a little bit punk. I'm all about clash ideas. I'm all about disruption. I know, I was going to do a 500 subscriber special, but when I passed 500 subscribers, it was just the beginning of December or the end of November, and I'm planning on doing an end of the year big thank you video and like how the channel's going to go next year and stuff like that. So I figured I would just cram that all into the same thing. Metal Gear reference, someone basically pretending to be someone else. Okay, I know virtually nothing about Metal Gear Solid, only because I am so crap at playing stealth that I could never play it right. And I used to get so frustrated because I'm terrible. I'm the worst at trying to be stealthy. I know Solid Snake. That's the extent of my knowledge. I'm so bad. Awful. You wink a few times in a quick succession. Oh God, you think to yourself, she's that kind of a person. You've seen a lot of them in your old life. Another deluded executive who thinks they're on a mission from higher powers, insufferable during meetings, possibly did ayahuasca and can't shut up about it. Is that weird drug that they do in like Brazil and South America where it's like a liquid and then you throw up while you're on it and trip and stuff? Always desperate to come off as cool. Is Solid Snake wrong? I don't know. Is that wrong? Big Boss? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm a total Metal Gear idiot. You collect yourself and escape the memory lane. Kara started talking about hope, so you'd better listen. Oh, thank you, Matthew. Thank you for coming to the stream. I'm glad you think I'm awesome. I don't necessarily think so, but it's nice that you guys do. To me, hope is as punk as it gets. A free spirit, fiercely independent, an eternal contrarian at odds with everything and everyone, developing her talents just because she finds it joyful. But God, does this girl need guidance? Not putting her talents to a better use, rotting away, posting inane bullshit all the time. What a waste. I have built an environment specifically to develop her talents and to let her become indispensable to our society, but she rejects it because of some idiotic hang-ups. I don't expect you to change your mind about me just because I kept yapping and yapping. I just hope you'll keep my perspective in mind and serve as a voice of reason Hope really needs right now. I think you're Hope. I think you're Hope. I think this is a Jeanette and Therese Vorman thing, and I think you're Hope. Yeah, it is that hallucinogenic tea thing that you get. I knew that. Naked Snake, who will later become Big Boss after defeating the original Big Boss, and thus inheriting her title as the original Snake. Whatever you say, friend, I trust you implicitly. I have no idea. Now that I had my say, how about we put our girl back on? She taps on her phone again. A silent buzz reappears in your right ear. I'm just going to answer with ellipses because I'm confused here. I really think Hope is Kara and Kara is Hope. So I really don't know what's going on here. It's like bloodlines all over again. Kara's hot. Yeah. Hope's hot, so it would make sense. 5 extremely long seconds of radio silence. I'm here. I'm here. Keep talking. Don't worry. She should have heard everything. I just wanted to spare you an annoying commentary track while I introduce myself. Excuse me for a second. One of Kara's guards approached to show her something on his phone. Hope uses the distraction to get you up to speed with how things are on her side. Yeah, for a second there I was about to rage that hag has gotten the best of us, but hey, go figure. She just wanted to take a piss in my Cheerios. The plan worked. Hello, Northern Shaman. The gangrel shaman in the north. Can't talk. All I've been doing is talking. Yeah, go ahead. If you guys want to talk about Metal Gear in the chat, go for it. The chat is free speech. I've got a lot of data from her monologuing and some private sources, but the more we gather, the better. This display here says some more K letters could be useful. So don't beat yourself up about it if you fail, but if you get her to repeat something with K in it, that might improve our deep fake voice. I'm pretty sure you're Kara, though. Looks like Kara's done talking to the guard. Sorry about that. Looks like I've got a sudden meeting with a Google representative to attend shortly. Hope snorts. Not bragging now. By the way, does anyone but Hope know about this little rendezvous? Your patron, any other companion, or maybe the Nosferatu? Nobody knows? Nobody knows. It's just us. Should I have told anyone? Maybe, maybe not. It just says a lot about your personality, that's all. Anyway, no offense, but since Hope's not here, I really have to rush. Honestly, I feel a little insulted she set up this meeting and didn't even bother to show up. Well, she didn't say anything with K. Insulted and suspicious, her tone of voice betrays. She might have some good instincts. Too bad she didn't trust them here. Still, out of respect for Langley, I decided to have this talk with you, to explain why I'm an asset to the Camarilla, or the Camarilla, and to explain why the elders need Hope by my side. Yes, Skeleton King, I notice you. I see you. Kara and Hope's plan seems to be confused the Second Inquisition with online red herrings. I'm curious how it would work in practice. I am too, but I'm pretty sure Kara and Hope are the same person. What the worm-brained hag here forgot to mention is that the elders don't give a shit about me. Even if you don't see it my way now, I believe I've sown some seeds here that might sprout in the near future. Double spiral looks out for people who look out for it, is all I'm saying. But before I leave, you know there's one thing I really wish I knew. Back when I knew her, she was a different person, or different people, depending on how you look at it. Why does she fight against me so much? What's her motivation to resist so much? Good question. She's never shared it with you. Answer whatever you want, but A, better lie through your teeth. B, get her to say V a few times if you can. It might improve a few shortcomings of our deepfake software. What's your answer? Payback? Retribution? I don't remember the exact phrasing, though. Kara frowns. Getting even? Revenge? Vengeance? Vendetta? Vindiction? Dick me dead and bury me pregnant, mate. You're good at this. Or just lucky. Or both. That's all the V letters we need, it seems. It seems awfully suspicious that she would just say a bunch of V letters in a row. V words in a row. One of Kara's people erupts with a theatrical cough. Kara gestures to calm him down. I really need to rush now. See you around, Huddy. She begins to walk down the stairs, surrounded by her guards. Once she's gone from before your eyes, Hope decides to summarize your mission. I am having a lot of fun, Skeleton King, thank you. It's winter here already, and I'll put the table on top of my favorite clan is gangrel. Why do you feel that it's, is that word that you're autistic friendly? I would be interested to know why you feel that way. I do really like the gangrel. It was really fun when I did my lore video on the gangrel. For the love of Christ, wish you could have kept her droning on for a little longer. Turns out the T letter could use some improvements as well. Not complaining, though. You did good, don't worry. The data I have should be more than enough to generate a convincing deepfake. I just need to put in some more work. So I guess I will get to that right away. Enjoy the rest of your night. Drop my hardware in your haven when you get a chance. I'll let you know when we're ready to hit Kara's base of operations. Pray for my success, sweetie, and I might be done soon, maybe even tomorrow. And once we're done with her, we'll talk about how I can repay your generosity. Amen! The connection drops. It looks like that's all for now. You gaze at the sea of lights around you for the last time, and then start making your way back to the street level. Okay. Let's rest. That wasn't... I would be shocked if we don't find out that Kara and Hope are the exact same person. She is a Malkavian. I would be shocked. Oh no, we're back at the leech pit. We didn't even get a chance to just go to our haven and you know, I mean, I'm sure we rested, but we didn't get to go to our haven and wait and maybe Kadir would drop by or just be looking through our window or something, just to, you know, tide us over. You arrive at the leech pit, finding it less rowdy than the last time. The bar is still packed, but the scene is empty tonight. Instead, the old crackling speakers are playing music that would probably sound like noise even on high-end hardware. Mia is nowhere to be seen, but you do remember she requested that you ask for her at the bar. You approach the bar as the bartender's done pouring a beer to an older guy in a grayed-out, fraying Iron Maiden t-shirt. She turns to you. What can I get you? I was told to ask you about Mia. Yeah, well, she's not in tonight. She looks you up and down, and a spark of recollection shines in her eye. Oh yeah, that's right. She takes a well-worn book from behind the counter, some kind of young adult vampire novel, and flips through it. She produces a piece of paper from between the book's pages and passes it to you. Who would actually go to a spot called the Leech Pit and not think something is up? Like really angsty teens in the late 90s. Like punks, anarch punks in the late 90s would absolutely go to a place called the Leech Pit. She told me you'd be interested in reading this. You find a relatively quiet corner and take a look at the note. T wants to meet you. I'll arrange it, but you need to prove you're trustworthy. Look around the leech pit for a guy named Bruce, buff dude, sleeve tattoo on his right arm. I'm 90% sure he's somebody's retainer, sent here to spy on us by the cam. Get me the name of his master and write it on this card, then return it to the bar. It doesn't take you long to locate this Bruce. He sits alone in a corner, 2 beer glasses already empty on his table. You take a moment to consider your approach. I don't need a feeding opportunity. I'm good. Strike up a conversation. Yes. The man immediately notices you, but doesn't move from his spot. The other seats are empty. When you focus the blood to boost your attractiveness, it's not just Bruce who notices. He's into you. So are other people, doing double takes while passing your table. I'm hot. Oh my goodness. Hey you, have I seen you here before? It's my first night here. I don't think so. It's my first night here. Hey, I'm just lucky I'm here tonight then. Intimidate him to give you the name. No, we've already been nice to him. Let's be nice. I know you're here because somebody asked you to spy on this place. It'd make me really happy if you gave me their name. What? Do you mean Sam? He catches himself, realizes what you're doing. His eyes dart over your shoulder. You thought you have him cornered, but he suddenly leaps over the table in one smooth move and dashes through the sparse crowd. You catch up to him outside. I have autism. When I look around the other clans, I find them uncomfortable. I play on Discord where there's community. 6 people. That is awesome, Northern Shaman. That is super awesome. Yeah, I mean, I can't really, relate on a personal level because I don't have autism. But I'm so happy. Vampire the Masquerade it's so good at its storytelling, and it's so good that everyone, I don't care who you are, everyone can find a clan to resonate with. Like, for whatever reason, I resonate with the Nosferatu. I don't know what it is. I think because I don't consider myself to be like a good-looking person or whatever. Having the power of obfuscate just really appeals to me. But I don't know. That's so awesome. I'm so happy that you have a group that you can play the game with on Discord, and that so many of you identify with the gang role. That really makes me happy. And Elizabeth likes to pretend. Bros, that oh my god, scumbag, he totally looks like Jacob from Twilight. That's hilarious. Alright, so we chase him outside. He's bolting, alright. Let's command him to stop. Bruce, stop. Simple command, obeyed to the letter. You approach him and drag him into a nearby alleyway. I'm being careful, Skeleton King, don't worry. He snaps out of your previous command, but now there's only a few meters between the two of you. Oh, is it Outstar's Discord? That's so awesome. She's great. She's the first person I think I ever saw videos about the Vampire the Masquerade. Even before I started playing the game. So long ago. Okay, let's see. Do I beat the name out of him, intimidate him with violence, or tell him his hover is glow? Let's intimidate him with violence. Here's the deal. You tell me your master's name and you save yourself a world of hurt. Unless you want to exit this alley in a stretcher, you'd better. Whack. Bruce doesn't wait for you to finish talking. He jumps at you, kicking and punching with dizzying speed, takes you by surprise, and he puts you on the defensive. Just as you're about to retaliate, he breaks away, jumps the fence at the end of the alley, and is gone into parts unknown. Damn! Time to leave something for Mia. You borrow a pen from the bar and turn Mia's note to the other side. Failure! Massive failure. How does obfuscate work on cameras, particularly heat vision cameras? I don't know how it works on heat vision cameras. The only kindred I know that have an issue with being on camera is the La Sombra, for different reasons, more because they're not exactly existing on the same, light. I can't think of the word. They're not existing quite in the same set of I can't think of the word. They have problems with camera, though, with being on camera. And by the game, in all honesty, the ability for so many people to find something within it that they... Absolutely. Absolutely. My wife, who doesn't care about Vampire the Masquerade, doesn't interest her or whatever, she watches my lore videos, she reads my scripts because, just so I can get an extra pair of eyes on them, and she, the gang will resonate with her. Wavelength. Wavelength is the word, thank you, or the phrase. She resonates with the gang girl just because, she feels like there's something in her that wants to run. I remember so many times when she's frustrated and stuff, she wants to run. She doesn't want to just jog down the street. She wants to go into the woods and she wants to run. She always wants to be outside and in nature. And for whatever reason, Gangrel resonates with her. So, that makes sense. And mirrors, that's right. Los Ombras don't cast a reflection. All right, so we have to leave something for Mia because we totally effed this up. We're total losers, total failures. He got away because we're great at being a vampire, clearly. Sam, that's all you got. It's not much. Can be the full name or a fragment of a name, male or female. Well, it's something at least. You could pull a name out of your ass or let Mia figure it out. Leave a note on the name fragment. There's literally nothing else we can do about it. If she's going to be pissed, she's going to be pissed. Deal with it. Mia asked you for a name, but if all you have is a fragment, it'll have to do. You jot down a note. Bruce referred to his master as Sam. You pass the piece of paper to the bartender. She sticks it back in the same book. Hold on 1 second. She wanted me to pass something on to you. She produces a cell phone from behind the counter. It's ancient, at least 15 years out of date. Yes, Kindred and their burner phones. All right, and this. An old charger for the piece of junk in your hand. They really did think about everything. She said she'll be in touch. Takes you a moment to remind yourself how to operate this thing, and you find the phone book is blank. There's no Wi-Fi connectivity and no messages left. It's got a version of Snake, though. I remember Snake. Oh my god, I'd love to play that on my old T-Mobile crap phone that I had when I was in high school. The bartender is already over at the other end of her domain, taking orders from patrons. With your Anarch contact nowhere in sight, you decide to move on for the night. Hopefully your educated guesses based on the scraps of info you collected will be enough to have Mia call you. Okay, why is Hope all the way out here? Okay, guys, I've been streaming for about 2 hours. So many of you have come to the chat and interacting in the chat and talking about so many different things. I cannot express to you how much that means to me. I love to see you guys out here. I love when you're helping me make choices with the game, commenting on my actions, even if they're terrible. You guys seriously are the best. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will see you tomorrow. I hope I'm going to stream again tomorrow. Same time, 7 p.m. Central European Time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I usually go for about 1 hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours. So, again, thank you so very much. Have an awesome night, morning, day, whatever time it is where you are. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. Bye.